Okay, what is going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys the tier list. This is going to be an overall, when the beginner tier list, okay, guys? So this is going to be the beginner one. This is not going to be a maxed out one. This is going to be for release. Because obviously, later on down the line, every unit can become mythic, but basically nobody knows how that's going to pan out at the moment. This is just going to be for release. So this is going to be when the game drops, which units you should go for, which ones are good for story, which ones aren't for good story, which are good for infinite. Just basically everything to get you through the beginning and start of the game. So first of all, Steve is the GOAT. He's a summoner unit, he's very good, he also does damage himself, and he is a support unit with one of his last upgrades, and he's a legendary. So he's pretty easy to get, so that's definitely a GOATed unit you want at the start of the game. Sakura, also a buff unit, they're decent. They can be good at a mythical, but obviously this isn't the tier list for that. Ichigo, he doesn't have that much range and he doesn't do that much AoE, so he's kind of air. Zoro, he's decent. He has a pretty good linear AoE, and he does pretty good damage with decent SPA, so he's decent. Boba Fett, honestly, meh. I personally don't like him, but that's just personal preference. You guys might think different, so honestly, not for me. He's pretty good, but I never really used him in my story runs, and I've completed them all in quite decent speed, so this is, again, my personal opinion. If you guys don't agree, that is completely fine, and you're entitled to, because not everybody's going to agree, but this is just like a general idea. Madara, most broken item in the game, tower in the game at the moment, before it gets balanced, but obviously it's a mythic, so the likelihood you're going to get it on release as soon as you play is very unlikely, but it is still a very, very good unit. So for the fact it is the best unit in the game currently, it's got to be a GOAT. Harry Potter, he doesn't have very good AoE, but he does do decent damage, very good range, and quite low SPA single hit. So honestly, he's decent. He's decent. Sanji, very good. He's a very good unit. He also he gives money with the bottom upgrade. He can also support with damage buffs, and he also does a lot of damage. So he's very good, and he's a rare as well. So you got to very easily get him. Whitebeard, he's a mythic unit. Obviously, again, it's probably slightly worse than Madara, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Although he is still very good, but the likelihood you're going to get him is very low. So I'm going to put him in very good, because when you do get him, when you get to level 10 and you're getting guaranteed mythic, this is the mythics you want to get, and that's fairly quick into the game, which you get from doing your missions and challenges to level up your battle pass. Bulma, money unit, meh. I mean, she's helpful for stories you don't exactly need her though, but there's no harm in putting her on the team if you get a good artifact, which I do, which lowers her unit cost, so I can do it at the start of the game, and it helps out. So I'd say she's top of meh, because you don't need her, but it is a help if you do. Butterfly, very good unit, one of the best units in the game for the start. It is a support character and it can do a lot of damage. Naruto has pretty cool VFX when it's fully maxed out. I'd say it's a decent unit personally. Eren, they've got decent AoE, not a big enough range for me personally, and they could be better, they could be worse. I'd say they're decent. Now Jotaro and Dio's, they both do time stop, I believe, with their ultimate ability. But obviously Dio's is better since he is a legendary and Jotaro is a epic or purple to start off. So I'd say he's pretty good, and then I'd say Jotaro's about Jotaro's decent. He is decent, because when you get him he does do a lot of damage. Rengoku, he's a very cheap unit and he does a lot of damage off spawn, so I'd say he's very good. Steve and Rengoku I've personally been using, and I've been doing story like there's no tomorrow. I've been easily completing it, but obviously one of them is a mythic and one of them's a legendary, so you got to take that in mind. But this is still fairly easy to get for release if you get one of these guys. All of them as being mythics, it would be a completely different tier list, but this is just for release. Now Rukia, they are pretty good. They're also a support character. They do decent damage, so I'm going to put them here. Nami, also as a support, they do pretty good. I mean, most of these units are a support one way or the other with some of the upgrades they do, but they can also do damage because there's two pathways. So I'd put them in there. And then Goku, I didn't personally use them, but a couple of friends that I'm friends with obviously did use them themselves, and they said that he was pretty decent. So this is kind of the list that I'm going for. Obviously yours might be slightly different, but this is for the beginning of the game. Can I just stress that out? This is the beginning of the game, and this is my personal preference. Later down the line, if they're all mythics, where they all get boosted stats and they all do a lot of damage, then this tier list would be completely different. But this is just for release. This is as soon as you get into the game, these are the units that you are wanting to go for. So that's basically it. Hopefully this helps out. Try go for these units. If you disagree, comment down below what you change them for.